All right, week one of the college football season, episode one of the Players Club this year. That's Mick Gillespie. You see him as the host on Bama Insider on 3 Sports. He's also the host of the Tailgate Show. He'll be with us all year long. You know Lance Taylor, lanceslock.com. I'm Jim Dunaway, simply the host here. We're going to roll through 6 or 7 games, how you should play them this upcoming weekend. We record this on a Thursday, so these are Thursday numbers subject to change, so you'll want to keep checking all your locations like lanceslock.com to get the updated numbers before you play with your man. The show this year being brought to you in part by our tequila sponsor this year.
Dobel. Dobel, just a fantastic tequila. This is their Diamante tequila. We're sending you some of this, Mick. This will be coming south very soon. This Dobel Diamante is a blend of extra añejo, and reposado tequilas aged in new European oak barrels, double filtered to remove color while producing that crystal clear spirit of character and smoothness. So I've poured a little shot here to get our day going and get our picks going. Nothing like tequila and 3-team parlays, right?
That's exactly right. Vic, let's start off. We'll go this game first. Out of the gate, defending national champs Georgia. It's a virtual home game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They're hosting the Oregon Ducks. Minus 17 as we record this. Your thoughts on Oregon and Georgia in Atlanta to start the season?
Yeah, look, Georgia's the defending champs, and I mean, this is almost a home game, right? It's right in their backyard, although they haven't had a lot of success there against Alabama, but this isn't Alabama, it's Oregon. I didn't like the way that Oregon just got punched in the mouth last year twice by Utah, right? They just weren't able to kind of physically win the football game in the trenches. I think this is an Oregon team, though, that is – look, we might see our friend Bo Nix, right, at quarterback. They've got Georgia's defensive coordinator as their head coach. 17's a big line for me. I'm not sold on Stetson Bennett. I know he won the national championship, but I don't know. I think 17's a lot. Opening game, Dan Lanning. I take the 17 on this one. I just don't think Georgia, with all those losses and like 17 guys in the NFL, is going to just pick up right where they left off.
To me, Oregon's like a middle-of-the-pack SEC team. I know people have got Oregon ranked in the top 25, and people think they can win the Pac-12. You look at Bo Nix, you brought him up. He's 0-3 all-time against Georgia, 56% completion percentage, 1 touchdown and 3 turnovers. He's been sacked 9 times. He's been awful against these Georgia defenses. Now, the personnel around him, is it as good or better than he had at Auburn? Maybe so. Yeah, maybe so. And Georgia did lose 15 players to the NFL draft. 17 is a lot. Man, I am so on the fence on this game. I think I probably lay it. I don't love this game. Again, Georgia, the defense was so good. It's not going to be nearly as good as it was last year. I mean, 10.2 points per game.
So you lay it, don't play it. But Mick, you have to win this 17 points. You got to factor in a little bit, guys, of Kirby Smart, who used to be considered really conservative, especially in openers. We saw that last year, Georgia and Clemson. And I just wonder, having a national championship under his belt, does he free Todd Monken up to be a little looser in this opener, or do you think he's still tight? Mick, I'll go you first.
Well, look, Jermaine Burton, their best receiver, is at Alabama now, right? And then you lose all these other guys to the NFL, and they're all first-round picks. I mean, I get it. You have the best tight end in college football, but I don't know. I mean, is it going to free him to maybe take more risks, like not fake a field goal when you have the game won against Alabama? I don't know. Like I think Georgia's going to be good. I think that they'll be better as the season goes on because they've got so many new people and new spots. And I feel like Oregon's got something to prove here, right? I mean, Georgia's already proved it. And the toughest thing in sports is coming back after you won a championship. I mean, look at how that always goes, except for Alabama and the Patriots, right? So I just feel like it's going to be tough to really motivate your team when you've just been told you're the greatest Georgia team ever and you're the first champion since 1980. So I just kind of feel like Oregon with Bo Nix. And look, you're right. He was 0-3 against Georgia, but they're such a big underdog. I think if you're Oregon, you're just coming in and playing free, and they've got good players.
Well, here's all I'll say. Brock Bowers, Eric Gilbert, the tight ends, mismatches for Oregon. Georgia is the new Alabama to me. I don't know if they're going to win as many national championships, but we've seen Alabama in these spots, neutral site games against quality opponents, always blow them out. I'm going to lay the points again. I don't love it, but I'm going to take Georgia.
That's 2:30 ABC. Let's go 2:30 on ESPN. Cincinnati, who was in the playoffs last year, they lose a lot. And Arkansas, with a lot of momentum with Sam Pittman, we're playing this one at Arkansas -6.5. Mick, we'll start with you, man. Arkansas is a team that can do what Alabama did to Cincinnati in the playoffs. They can line it up and run it right at you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys, I've already played this game, and I'm really excited about it because I think that Arkansas is going to destroy Cincinnati. We saw Cincinnati against the SEC in the game against Alabama. That wasn't even a good running Alabama team. They had one running back and then a half a guy, right? And they still ran over Cincinnati. And Cincinnati lost all their good players. The cornerback's gone. Sauce is in the big league, in big leagues in the NFL now. They lost their quarterback. He's in the NFL. Ritter. Ford, the running back's gone. I'm so shocked that Cincinnati is even ranked. And I feel like this Arkansas team is going to give a lot of trouble to Alabama and a lot of the other teams around the country this year. I love their quarterback. He's a big physical guy. He'll probably run the ball a lot himself, and he can throw. I know they lost their best receiver, but I just feel like the momentum is with Arkansas. I like the fact that Arkansas, to me, is a team that you really got to watch out for. And look, this is a big home game.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. Very, very good points. Sam Pittman, year one, I think they overachieved going 3-7. There was no expectation for them to win a game. Then last year, they go out, they win 9 games. They've got a really difficult schedule. But you mentioned the missing parts for Cincinnati. And I think the reason this number is under a touchdown is because of the respect factor and what Luke Fickell's been able to do at Cincinnati. They're 22-2 over the last 2 seasons. The only 2 programs with a better winning percentage are Alabama and Louisiana and Lafayette. And a quick number for you, Arkansas in the month of September, their last 10 games, 8-2 against the number.
Wow.
I'm laying the points here. I think KJ Jefferson has a big game.
So we agree on that with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Moving forward to another interesting game in Texas. UTSA, Alamo Dome, hosting Houston. We saw Houston win the Birmingham Bowl over Auburn, and everyone sort of putting Houston as the team that could be this year's Cincinnati, make a run, maybe be undefeated, or a one-loss Group of 5 team. But they're only a 4.5-point favorite, Mick, against the Roadrunners. What do you make of that line?
Yeah, the Roadrunners have kind of been one of those teams that you have to keep an eye on too, right? I mean, they're a team that wins a lot of games. Houston, though, I think has better players. This is one that I kind of stayed away from because I just don't feel comfortable either way on this. I could see the Roadrunners winning, but Houston, would they lose their first game last year? They lost their last game last year. And in between, they were one of the really most exciting teams in the country. So I guess if I was, betting against LT, I would say I would take Houston, and just because of the talent gap. I think the Roadrunners know how to win games, but I think Houston just has better players.
It's amazing. Both teams won 12 games last year. And I don't think the Roadrunners are going to be intimidated at all. They beat Illinois, a Power 5 last year. They beat Memphis last year. They've got 17 returning starters. Frank Harris is coming back for his senior year at quarterback. Jeff Traylor is one of the best coaches you never hear about. I think Dana Holgorsen does his best work when he's under the radar. Everybody's talking about Houston can be this year's Cincinnati. I think there's a lot of pressure on Houston in this game. I think it's a great matchup. If UTSA can keep Tank Dell in check, one of the best wide receivers in college football, I think they win the game outright. Quick numbers for you. UTSA 4-1 against the number of their last 5 against ranked teams, and Houston 3-7 against the number of their last 10 as a ranked team. So not really good in this spot. I like the Roadrunners. I'll take the points.
All right, moving along. Got 4 more games for you, but we're brought to you today by this beautiful tequila. Boy, I love the fact that the Dobel Diamante is aged in a barrel, and it sort of blends stuff together and makes it a nice, crisp, easy drink.
It is such an easy drink. I mean, I'm just drinking it chilled right now. So, and again, we're in the middle of the day recording this right now.
That's
so,
right.
Tequila and gambling, it goes hand to hand. Again, Dobel, one of the finest out there. We appreciate them sponsoring.
6 o'clock ESPN. It is Utah and Florida. And, I look at this, and it's Utah -3 playing at an SEC stadium, and everyone's got, like, this guy's got Utah in the college football playoffs. You got to prove it to me if you're going to do it on the road in humidity down here in the SEC country. What do you make of this matchup? It's a fun one this weekend. It's my number one game to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I think Utah is going to go in there and run over Florida. Like Florida, they're getting better, and I like the direction that the Gators have been moving in recruiting. They're into some, they're getting into some battles with teams like Alabama and Georgia, and they're winning some of them, but they're not quite there yet. This is Utah's best team, and this is the year that if Utah is going to get to the college football playoff, it's going to happen because USC is about to take off, and then all of a sudden, you're Utah again, right? But look, we're overestimating the humidity in the swamp. I think when you have a really strong run game, you got a quarterback with experience, and you got a team that knows how to win. I think Utah is going to be all right. This is another game that I've actually bet in my real life, and I feel very comfortable with it. And I've been surprised at the line. I figured that eventually that the line would be moving towards Utah, but I feel like it's going towards Florida. But I'm taking the Utes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little hesitant because I'm one of those guys I like to fade the public, and the public is on more Utah here. But you can't really put this number bigger because it is a team traveling west to east and playing in the SEC. You look at Florida, 1-4 against the number of their last 5 season openers versus ranked teams. Obviously, Utah is number 7 right now. But Florida's won 32 consecutive home openers. That's the longest streak in SEC history. So something's got to give here, but it's Billy Napier's first game. Cam Rising, probably the best player on the field. Tavion Thomas running the football. Utah is really strong up front. I like the Utes. They've got 4 tricky games. This is one of those tricky games. If they want to get to that college football playoff, which I think they will, they've got to win this game. Skinny number. I'm going to lay it. Don't feel great about it because of where the number is, but I'm going to take the Utes.
Home openers for Florida that's a fake number there because they haven't played this kind of competition before.
Very true.
Let's get under the lights on Saturday night. Before we do the big game, the game day is on Saturday. Let's do Memphis and Mississippi State in Starkville, 6:30 ESPNU. It's a Will Rogers love fest with this guy all summer long, Mick. 16 the Bulldogs against Memphis. We just saw this game in a bowl game. What do you think about Mississippi State hosting Memphis?
Yeah, I was doing some crack research today. I asked Bo Bounds, who's from Mississippi, covers them. I said, are they going to be able to State? Are they going to be able to cover this spread? They lost to Memphis last year, but there was a lot of weird things that happened in that football game, including officiating, where a ball that was down got returned for a touchdown, and that's what really put Memphis into the winning, the victory lane there. But look, Mississippi State has Mike Leach. All these guys are back, and they have experience. I hate the number. I mean, I just hate giving up that many points. But I'm going to take Mississippi State, and I think they're going to be able to move the ball and throw. It's going to be a pretty good crowd there, but I'm not real comfortable with it. I hate giving up that many points. Memphis is one of those teams where when you count them out, they beat teams like UCLA. They beat teams like Mississippi State. But this is a game that State really has to kind of be successful in if they're going to have a good season. You can't lose to Memphis and have the type of year that they're hoping to have. So I'm gonna take the offense, Rodgers and the gang. I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to score a lot of points and win.
I took Memphis in this game last year, and I was fortunate. You talked about that controversial punt return. Calvin Austin took it to the house. I think it was 89 yards. They win the game 31-29. But Memphis, after 7 consecutive winning seasons, went 6-6 last year. So they took a step back. And I think this is Mike Leach's best team in year number 3. Will Rogers, a lot of people forget, almost passed for 5,000 yards and 36 touchdowns last year. I think he's going to be even better this year. I think this is a payback game. I lay the points. I think Mississippi State is going to be better than advertised this year. And again, I think Memphis is trending in the wrong direction.
My only thing I would tell you is that Memphis has been able to scheme Mike Leach all during camp. It's not like they had a different opener, and then this was week 2 or week 7, week 8. They've been able to work on that Mike Leach offense all camp long. We'll see if that.
So you like Memphis?
I'm just saying to keep it under the number at 16. That number, I'm with you, Mick, seems to be a big number. It's a big number in Columbus as well. Notre Dame and Ohio State, 6:30 on ABC. Mick, I know you saw the game 2012, the Manti Te'o game, Alabama and Notre Dame, when Alabama was just a better team on the field against Notre Dame. That's the feeling that I have about this game. What do you think of that showdown where Ohio State's given 17 to Notre Dame?
Yeah, it shows you what I know too. I was on the sideline talking to Vince Vaughn for that football game, and I'm like, hey man, Notre Dame looks great. I'm looking at the size of Notre Dame, and I'm thinking like Alabama's got some trouble here. Yeah, and then Eddie Lacy ran over Manti Te'o, and Alabama never looked back. I don't know how Notre Dame's going to compete in this game. Like, I've tried to figure that out, right? I think that Ohio State could have the best quarterback in the country in Stroud. I like the fact that they have a lot to prove this year. They're going to run the ball better. Last year they struggled against the run, but who's going to tote the rock for Notre Dame, right? And for all these reasons, I'm taking Notre Dame in the 17 points because I don't know anything sometimes. And when I look at this, I'm going, you got baby Gronk, and that's it. 17's a lot, though. Notre Dame's number 5 in the country. How could number 5 be giving up 17 points in week 1? Plus, I think Notre Dame has a lot of interest in the program with the new coach. I think against Alabama a couple years ago, they lost, but they covered the spread. They'll lose this game, but I think it'll be about 14 instead of 17.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about Buckner at quarterback. He's very athletic. Outside of Anthony Richardson, most yards per carry per quarterback's coming back. Kyron Williams is a huge loss for this Notre Dame team. He was kind of the heart and soul of that offense. I look at Ohio State. It's hard to believe these historic programs have only matched up 7 times. Well, this will be the 7th all-time meeting. The last time they played in Columbus, Eddie George, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, en route to winning a Heisman Trophy. Ohio State blew them out that day. I think TreVeyon Henderson has that type of a day on Saturday. I like Ohio State. I'm laying the points. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, I don't think it's close either. I mean, for Notre Dame to win this, they got to score 37 points. And Ohio State's defense with Jim Knowles is supposed to be better, so we'll see. One more game Sunday. Florida State, who had the 2-0 win over Duquesne but lost a linebacker, playing in New Orleans against LSU, but a big home crowd for the Bengal Tigers. 6:30 ABC on Sunday night. LSU minus 3.5 in this game.
I got to throw this number out, Meg. We all remember we grew up when Florida State was really, really good in the top 5 for, I think, 17 consecutive years. They have not finished above 500 since 2017. And get this, they haven't been ranked since 2018. Since that year, 73 different FBS schools have been ranked, and Florida State is not one of them. I mean, this program has become an embarrassment of sorts, and Mike Norvell in year 3, he's got to get it done this year. Jordan Travis is going to be, the player, if they are going to take that next step to get back to 7 or 8 wins, he's got to play clean football. He did against Duquesne. The LSU, I don't know what to expect. They're 1-4 their last 5 versus non-conference opponents. You look at Florida State, they're 4-1 against the spread their last 5 against SEC schools. I'm going to take Florida State here. I don't love this game. It's a very difficult game because I don't know what to expect from either team.
Nick?
Yeah, look, and I feel like the exact opposite. I mean, I feel like LSU struggled because of coaching. I mean, they had the worst culture in the SEC. They went out and got one of the best coaches in the country. And I think Notre Dame's going to find out how good he is at the end of the season when you look back and see that the guy hardly ever loses football games, right? So I just have this feeling, like you said, Florida State has struggled so much. I think LSU is going to be a physical football team. I think they're going to take advantage of Butte, and who knows who the quarterback's going to be. I mean, is it Johnson? Maybe. I just feel like at the end of the day, LSU is going to win this football game, and they're going to be one of the big surprises in the SEC. No one's talking about them, but I think we will be after this first game, and we'll be saying, oh, you know what? Maybe Brian Kelly can't dance, but he can coach.
Dobel Diamantes, the tequila. Look for it. Maestro Dobel Diamante. Look for it wherever you buy your tequila, or go online to find it, the nearest tequila place for you that sells this wonderful stuff. A recap, Georgia over Oregon, given the points. A pass by Mick on that one. I like the dogs big. Arkansas around the board over Cincinnati, giving the points. You two like UTSA. Taking points from Houston. I'm giving the 4, taking Houston. Utah across the board for everybody here. When it comes to Mississippi State, you two like Hell State. I'll take Memphis in the 16. I think Hell State wins it by 14. Ohio State for us two. That guy thinks Notre Dame can keep it close. And then he likes Florida State. Mick and I like LSU. And that's the Players Club for week 1.